And this is it. This is their research. What's my source? I made it up. Like this is it. This picture. This is all they have. Joe Rogan challenges Dr. Peter Hotez to debate anti-vaxxer RFK Jr. on his podcast. Podcast host Joe Rogan challenged vaccine researcher Dr. Where is it? There it is. Dr. Peter Hotez to debate presidential candidate and anti-vaxxer Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after he criticized the Democratic presidential candidate for doubling down on his controversial stance on the Joe Rogan Experience last week. Rogan pledged to donate $100,000 to a charity of Hotez's choosing if he agrees to appear with the political scion who has launched a long shot bid to dethrone President Biden in the 2024 Democratic primary. Okay, so we haven't really talked that much about RFK Jr. And the reason is I don't think he's that relevant. I don't really, regardless of what I think of his politics, I'm not really sure like how relevant he's going to be in a primary that's not going to have debates, which isn't good, by the way. But the reality is I don't know if that's really going to change just because people complain about it. But yeah, like that's probably the big thing for me. Rogan Challenge, which has been viewed over 25 million times, prompted Hotez to respond in a now deleted tweet, which turned into a back and forth exchange. Quote, "Be serious, Joe. That's what you throw for your hunting buddies on a weekend. A $50 million endowment, which you, Spotify, RFK Jr. can easily afford. Not for me, but so we can continue making low-cost, patent-free vaccines for the world's poor," preceded by RFK Jr.'s public apology. Twitter owner Elon Musk, of course, had to jump in because, let's be honest here. Elon Musk is the type of guy who, like, you know who Elon Musk is? Elon Musk is, and if, and you know this guy, Elon Musk is the where my hug at guy. Always wants to be involved, always runs to the, to the most popular group, always wants to be involved in every single conversation because they don't have anything interesting going on with their own lives. That is what Elon Musk is. That's why he's even involved. It annoys me that they even bring him up. Owner Elon Musk chimed in saying Hotez hates charity, which is fucking stupid. Even though I'm like, yeah, wait, $100,000, that's all Joe Rogan can fucking afford. I'm with the doctor, dude. Fuck that, dude. Put real money up, not this bullshit $100,000. Fuck that. Let's see. Hates charity while Kennedy agreed to a respectful, congenial, informative debate that the American people deserve. Yeah, and of course, goddamn, dude, RFK, fucking what an L. RFK Jr. obviously trying to like goad him into the conversation because it is kind of what you do. From all the online attacks I'm receiving after this absurd podcast, it's clear many actually believe this nonsense, Hotez tweeted on Saturday, along with a Vice News article claiming Spotify was no longer monitoring Rogan's vaccine misinformation, including the conspiracy theory that vaccines cause autism after Kennedy's interview with Rogan on Rogan's podcast. Wait, does he think? Oh, I think I did see this. Wait, yeah. I saw this over the weekend, like random, when I like randomly got on Twitter for 10 seconds. Cause it was, RFK Jr. autism tweets. Let's see. Where is it? I know. Is this it? Let's see. Why does the CDC refuse? Okay. Let's see. Wait, what is this thing? I'm a Kennedy Democrat. Oh God, that's gross. No, where was it? I remember seeing it. It was like, I don't know, fucking 1100 BC, autism rate 0, vaccine rate 0. Fucking 2023 vaccine rate, 80 or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. Man, I remember seeing it, and it was so like, it was one of those things where like the minute you give it a few thoughts, it's like, oh, okay, just because I showed two things rising in a similar time period does not mean, God damn it, I don't know if I can find it. Was it a picture? Or it wasn't a picture. It was like actually a tweet, right? Like it wasn't, God damn it. Okay, I can't find it. I'll see if I can find it on the side. Maybe when we're watching the video or something, I'll try and find it. Anyway, let's see. From all the online, okay, let's see. Rogan, who is no stranger himself to controversy on COVID-19 vaccines, asked Hotez to debate Kennedy on his anti-vaccination stance after the doctor said the interview was laden with misinformation. So this is also the thing. Like, if I'm a doctor, right, I don't give a shit about debating somebody on their anti-vax stance, because their anti-vaccination stance isn't like, you're not going to move them off of that. They've taken that position. They now must defend that position. Like, at the end of the day, there isn't like, it's debating somebody on their their fucking religion. It's not something that they'll be debated off of. Like, there's more than enough information that you can get whichever answer you want. And there's more than enough ways to look at any data to get to the conclusion that you want. The thing you need to care about, or at least the thing that we as a nation, we as a population tend to prioritize, are people who show a interest in this that's deeper than, maybe like 2 to 3 layers. I want somebody like, you ever see those iceberg videos? There's like the Call of Duty iceberg, all those. I don't want somebody making policy with an awareness of the first like 3 levels. I want somebody who's underneath the fucking, like, in the black, in the darkness of it, who has an understanding of every inch of it, to actually give me this information and actually give me some, my education on this. Not somebody who like has a basic understanding or even a moderate understanding. Like, RFK Jr.'s not a fucking doctor. They're not a scientist. They're a politician. Which, like, why you would go on this debate with a politician about like medicine, I don't fucking know. Because they're going to constantly be either misrepresenting data, misrepresenting definitions, or misunderstanding actual processes. And that's the problem. The point of a politician is to convince you of their positions, not be correct about their positions. I hear a knocking at the door. Anyway, Centers of Disease Control and Prevention says there is no link between vaccines and autism. You want to know why? Because there hasn't been one fucking study to prove it. Like, let's find out. Let's see if I can get up, if I can get blown out of the water. Link between, well, not between time. Autism and vaccines. CDC. Is there, let's see. No, there's no connection between vaccines and autism. Autism is a condition that affects the brain and makes the, yeah, like there's nothing. There's nothing. If there was a study. Oh, I spelled autism wrong. Is that autistic? I don't fucking know. MMR vaccine. Yep. Almost immediately afterwards, studies were conducted, published, refuted, and posited link. Yep. Like, there's just nothing. There's nothing. There's fucking memes. This is what there is. Where did I get my my information? I got it from whatever the fuck this is. Like it's just, where's like, can I get like a good one? Let's see, mandatory. Require parents should be, oh, okay. No, that's not what I want. But yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no evidence for this. But like, people just kind of say it because it feels right? Like, it feels like, oh, like, you ever seen, I know, I just closed it again and I'm opening. Like, how, let's see, baby doll syringes? Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, like, okay. Um, maybe vaccines. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. This is exactly what I was thinking. I remember seeing this so long ago when I was in high school. Doll represents how many vaccines a child receives by age 2. And this is it. This is their research. What's my source? I made it up. Like this is it. This picture. This is all they have. Is they're like, isn't this weird? And it's like, no, it's actually not. There are a lot of diseases. Like, do you as a parent want to take a risk on any of these? On any of these possible diseases? Possible like anything? No, you don't. Like, and this is all they have. It's a scientist versus this feeling. And how am I supposed to refute that? If I'm that doctor, how am I supposed to refute this? If you're a doctor, you know that you've dealt with patients who like read a thing online, it feels right to them, and as you're treating them for something, they're constantly asking you, "Ah, but doc, isn't it?" Da, 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 da? And they're like, "No, you read that on the internet. That's not how that works." Like, these are fucking doctors. Say what you want about our healthcare system. It's fucking trash, but it does not produce bad doctors. It produces debt for everybody else, and debt for doctors that are going through medical school. But like, we do not produce bad doctors here. During Rogan's interview with Kennedy, released Thursday, Hotez was brought up as a point of discussion as the podcast host criticized the doctor for previously saying that he did not take basic measures to help boost his immune system. To have a conversation with someone who doesn't take vitamins and is telling you you have to take this medication is like this is a crazy conversation. Rogan said to Kennedy about his April 2020 interview with Hotez. Wait, what? To have a conversation with somebody who doesn't take vitamins, okay? They does that okay. Not everyone does everything. Have you ever so isn't there like a thing with like doctors where because you're a doctor, there's like this I guess this like false sense of security from getting sick, from diseases, from a lot of stuff, because you're a doctor and you think like, oh well, like I'm a doctor, I know how to not die. Like, isn't that like a whole thing? I've heard of that before. But like, either way, it's like, okay, he doesn't take vitamins, so fucking what? Like, okay, like vitamins are not the number one. And like, at the end of the day, that like Joe Rogan is using the fact that one doctor doesn't take vitamins to completely negate his doctorate degree and level of education. It's fucking stupid. Like, the stupidity on display here is fucking insane. Yeah, you have to take this medication. Like, you don't take vitamins, but you tell me to take the fuck, I don't know. I can't take Vicodin for my intense like back pain or something. I don't know if you're really have you ever taken have you ever like taken extremely strong opioids, doctor? Are you, if you're not really doing it, how can you give me any medical device if you're not like the healthiest person in the world? Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, Jesus, this dude is so fucking dumb. Let's see. During that appearance, the former Fear Factor host grilled him over his personal health and lifestyle decisions. Hotez conceded, I'm not as cautious about my diet as I should be. I'm a junk foodaholic. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that doesn't mean he doesn't know what medicine does, you fucking moron. Like, that means he personally just doesn't do, like, homeboy likes his fucking Skittles. Let him enjoy his fucking Skittles. He loves his berries and cream. Anyway, Hotez, the director of Baylor College of Medicine's National School of Tropical Disease Medicine, said he would be, quote, happy to come on and clear the air, while also extending a counter offer to Musk, inviting him to visit his vaccine laboratories and, quote, learn more about our work. I mean, let's be clear. They won't do it. Like, Musk isn't going to do it. He's not going to show up to that shit because he's not interested in learning about anything. He's interested about reinforcing the thing that he already believes. Because any kind of because if he goes to like this dude's lab and changes his mind, you know what Musk looks like? A fucking educated, like a person who's able to change their mind through more information, which is not people who he is a fan of and are fans of him. Like, this guy likes the authority of ignorance. Like, that's what he likes. The authoritative nature of ignorance. Rogan calling the response and quote a non-answer, voices displeasure with the doctor calling him out instead of reaching out privately. I challenge you publicly because you publicly quote tweeted and agreed with the dog shit Vice article. If you're really serious about what you stand for, you now have a massive opportunity for a debate that will reach the largest audience a discussion like this has ever had. If you think someone else is better qualified, suggest that person. And here's the thing. Being good at science does not make you good at explaining or communicating science. A debate is not like, how many of us have watched debates? And how many of us have watched debates and none of what is said matters? It's more about how the information is presented. It's going to be a lot more about how, how convincing someone makes an argument. The actual merits of that argument are pretty up for question. But, if you can make a strong enough case, if you can say, oh, well, doctor, then how do you explain autism and this picture of a baby doll with like 1 million syringes in it? How do you explain the correlation between these two? And a doctor can go, well, here's the thing. I can't explain that to you. We don't have that answer yet. And in the lack of an answer, the honest answer is that we don't know yet. Or at the very least, we're not sure. Or we don't have anything concrete. In the lack of that, of concrete knowledge, we need to, like, there are people like Joe Rogan who want to fill that void with whatever fits their narrative and their perspective. Because Joe Rogan thinks you should be taking less vaccines. Joe Rogan thinks you should be taking less medicine. And that's like, I think I've said it on here before. Take a little bit less ibuprofen. Take a little bit less of some of the extreme stuff. Like, let your body kind of naturally fight stuff. I think that's good. But I would never go out there and be like, just don't get vaccines or don't get any of this stuff. Like, at the end of the day, these are the things that are keeping us like to be healthy enough, or at least our immune system's ready to fight some of these diseases and stuff. So it's just, and like, but that's like his opinion. He just thinks, oh, I think it's too much, which I'm like, fine. I kind of sometimes think it's too much too, but neither of us are scientists and neither of us are healthcare professionals. We're just two fucking dudes. And at the end of the day, we're filling in the real data, the real gap of real data with our vibes data, our vibe take. Like, that's what he's filling it in here. And that's at the end of the day when RFK Jr. poses a question to which there isn't a concrete answer. This guy's going to give the honest answer that we don't know, but we know it's not this. Or at the very least, we have never seen a link between like autism and like the prevalation of vaccines for children. And RFK Jr. will simply sit there and go, you don't have an answer, which means I win this because I have a answer, whether it's right or wrong. I'm taking a position. And when it comes to science, sometimes we don't have the answer. And sometimes that is the answer, is that we don't know. I don't know. You don't know. And what you're saying, if it has even less data to back it up, is even more bullshit. Like, and it's just like not everyone's up for debates. Not everyone's a fucking debate lord. I don't know why he doesn't like fucking have some debate lord on fucking BreadTube or something. I don't know. But fuck, dude, not everyone's a debate guy. Not everyone can perform in a debate, even on subjects that they're like well educated on. Like, I don't think I could debate somebody on, fuck, I don't know. I don't really know what I could, I don't know what I couldn't debate somebody on. But like, that's because I like arguing. Like, not everyone, like, argumentation and debate is different from like learning and education. Like, those are just different things. They're just completely different skill sets. Ow. Anyway, Hotez, who acknowledged he deleted his tweet, was unnecessary. Acknowledged his deleted tweet was unnecessarily provocative. Claimed he was hurt when Rogan and his guest labeled him as a pharma shill. Yeah, I'd be pretty upset by that. Pharma shill, saying the comedian had his cell phone number and an email, seemingly wanting to take the exchange offline. Kennedy, and keep in mind, Kennedy's only doing this to, like, pick up momentum in the race that I don't think is ever actually going to go anywhere. Kennedy is trailing by him by a margin of 62 to 15 among Democratic voters in recent Harvard CAPS Harris poll. His long-time prominent anti-vax views were highlighted during the COVID-19 pandemic when he railed against vaccines and pushed for use of ivermectin, something that's never been a parasite treatment medicine or anti-malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine, to treat the virus instead. Joe Rogan grills Dr. Peter Hotez, sorry, I keep fucking up his name, for exclusively promoting vaccines while discrediting exercise, vitamins, and health and a healthy diet. Dude, you fucking idiot. God damn it. Like, I'm sorry, but if somebody gets fucking COVID, or if somebody gets a cold, or if somebody gets anything else, you don't tell them, hey, don't take Tylenol, or don't take Dayquil or NyQuil or any of that shit. What you need to do is, like, work out a bit, eat some salads, and take your vitamins, brother. Like, also, he does realize that vitamins are also, like, it's not like vitamins aren't, like, what's it called, made by the corpos, right? Like, he doesn't know that. It's funny that he's like, the whole time he's always like, oh, vitamins. Like, dude, that's corpos too. You're so worried about, like, corpos, and you're over here backing vitamins, which are no less privatized than fucking medicine is. But yeah, let's see. Did the vaccines disregard health, exercise? Yeah, there's a large body of data that connects poor diet to a host of diseases. You don't think vitamins are needed while you eat junk food? Let's see. Some idiot on Twitter. The Food and Drug Administration and medical experts, such as Dr. Anthony Fauci, have warned against using the unauthorized drugs for COVID-19 treatment. Yeah, and keep in mind, okay, like, you can do, like, there's a large body of evidence that, like, yeah, like, poor diet and everything else makes you more susceptible to a lot of things. This is not, like, while this is one of them, or at the very least, it's like, yeah, if you're, like, more out of shape, will you be affected more by COVID? Yeah, but getting in shape is not a 1 week thing. Like, that's going to take a long time for you to work on. So in the meantime, take this vaccine so that you're protected from the worst outcomes. And if you want to work out, get in shape, get healthy, do all the stuff, be like me, work out. No, I don't work out as much as I should. Long live Heather. I don't even know who that is. Let's see. Food and Drug. Yeah. Rogan himself stumbled into controversy during the pandemic for using ivermectin to treat the COVID-19 infection. He also publicly questioned wisdom of younger people receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Oh yeah, didn't he also take ivermectin, but then he was also getting monoclonal antibodies, to which it's like, yeah, that's like the rich man's option if you don't want to get the vaccine, to which is like, yeah, not everyone has the money to get monoclonal antibodies. That's only rich people. Kennedy, or like people who are in severe, like, cases. Kennedy is one of 2 Democratic primary challenges to Biden, alongside self-help author and spiritual guru Marianne Williamson, who I definitely like a little bit more, but neither are really all that relevant. Anti-vax work has drawn a repudiation from members of his own family, with his sister Carrie Kennedy telling the Associated Press in 2021 that he is, quote, completely wrong on this issue and very dangerous. The nephew of President JFK and Attorney General RFK, both assassinated in the 60s. Christ above. Nothing bad ever happens to a Kennedy. Also told Rogan that he's taking precautions to avoid being assassinated by the CIA, who he blamed for killing his uncle. Let's see. The U.S. government has debunked that claim as a conspiracy theory, maintaining that convicted shooter Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the 1963 presidential murder. Okay, yeah. We're not going to litigate that, mainly because I don't have the background to litigate that one. All right, let's take a video, because I think this is the thing. I saw this. This just popped up. I just kind of want to get a vibes check. Oh no, are you a conservative commenter? Oh no.
Achieve these. And I'll just say one other thing, Joe. That war's cost us $113 billion. That's the commitment so far. CDC's entire budget is $12 billion a year. FDA or EPA's entire budget is about $12 billion. We have 57% of our people in this country cannot put their hands on $1,000 to, if they need to, if there's an emergency. 25% of Americans are hungry now, are not getting enough food.
Capitalism, right?
I have a friend who is a commercial fisherman who spent his life.
Is this going to behave if I go full screen again? Are you going to behave?
Business.
There we go. Okay.
Put it together, but because it's a private business, because he was working a lot for other people, he doesn't have benefits. He now has a disability. His son-in-law runs the business, but can't support him. He has a disability, and he has been surviving on $280 worth of food stamps from the SNAP program.
Oh, good
and
friend.
That doesn't take you too far. But on March 1st, he got a robocall from the government saying your food stamps have been cut by 90%. You're now getting $25 a month. Try feeding yourself on 90 cents a day in this country. 30 million Americans got that call. These are, and that same month, we bailed out, we printed $300 billion new dollars to bail out the Silicon Valley Bank. And we topped off the Ukraine war commitment to $113 billion. So we got lots of money for the military-industrial complex, lots of money for the bankers, the banksters. But
okay, we have corruption in this country. We have legalized bribery that leads to corruption. None of this is anything you didn't hear about back in 2016 during the Bernie campaign. Keep in mind.
We're starving Americans to death. Starving them. And because of all the inflation, we spent $16 trillion on the lockdown. We wasted, got nothing for it. $8 trillion on the Ukraine war. That's $24 trillion that they had to print to pay for nothing. That money, the way they're paying it back, they're not going to tell us they're raised taxes because you can't do that. It's a hidden tax called inflation, and it hits the poor and the middle class. And
people starve. Yeah, people starve now under like pretty rampant capitalism.
Has dismantled the middle class in this country. Well, my friends' food bills for basic foods like chicken, dairy, and eggs has increased 76% in 2 years to pay for the Iraq war, the Ukraine war, the Iraq war, and the lockdowns.
Oh yeah. Also, keep in mind, fucking like when was this? This was okay. So this was recently. Yeah. And keep in mind, there are people who are like, it's now going to be even harder to get onto food assistance programs because of the bullshit debt ceiling deal that Biden cut. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
His food prices
works so fucking hard to kick a few people.
And now the government's telling him, well, we have plenty of money for the military and the banks. We don't have it for Americans who are hardworking people.
Yeah, no shit.
And
dude, something is not right. What do you want? What do you want? What are you mad about? Do you want to come on and like complain to me or something? Like I've been on in like a week because I was sick last week. So if you want to come on and have a conversation, you can pick whatever topic. I don't mind. But like what? Get a life? What? I stream. I like streaming. I like talking politics. What do you want from me? Doing the thing that I want to do. What are you doing that you want to be doing right now? Like, fuck Christ.
We're in a crisis in this country. And we need to start we need to start unraveling the empire. We have 800 bases abroad. We were told in 1992, when the Soviet Union collapsed.
Best year, best 90s.
We were going to get a peace dividend. That the military expenditure was going to go from $600 billion a year to $200 billion, and we were going to stop making billion-dollar stealth bombers that can't fly in the rain, and that we're going to take that money home and build schools with it, and build infrastructure, and give good health care in the inner cities. And then none
And
of that
then
happened.
none of
and
yep,
today,
yep,
instead of going
yep.
down to 200 billion, it's gone up. The total military expenditure, if you include national security.
And remember, now, this is my thing also. A lot of what's it called? In the exact same debt ceiling negotiation that I just mentioned. Do you want to know what the one place that Republicans made sure would not get cut funding? They're complaining about the debt ceiling, about how much money that we put into our social programs, everything else. Do you want to know the one of the only places that they protected? The Pentagon's budget. That's it. They wanted to kick people off of food assistance so that they could keep money flowing into the Pentagon, which at the end of the day flows into weapons manufacturers' pockets, which flow into the executives, which flow into the managers of all those processes. And when all of these politicians, every single one of these politicians, whenever any of them go to run for office, they're all going to get money from manufacturers. They're all going to get money from super PACs funded by those manufacturers. And some of them are going to leave government and go work for Lockheed Martin, go work for Boeing, go work for any of these companies. They're going to leave. They're going to go work for those companies. They're going to get a nice $1 million+ position in these companies for constantly sending them money so that they can make a buck. You know? And that's how this revolving door works. What he's describing here, I don't disagree with, but like, again, to me, this is nothing really new from the Bernie campaign. Like, we all kind of understand this. And I think most Americans understand how the revolving door works in terms of Washington. Like, the revolving door is kind of obvious, right? Like, everybody has like some private interest group or some private corpo or some private super PAC that's funded by corpos that they all they all get money from. They all get money for their elections for, and then suddenly they pass laws that are in favor of those corps, and then eventually go and work for them as consultants, or they sit on their boards or anything else. Like, this is all very transparent. Is any of this like to me at the end of the day, all this is all well and good, but as much as I agree with everything you just said there, it's also nothing we haven't heard before. And when paired with some of the other stuff, it's a bit sussy. But speaking of, okay, so I think, when was this? This was a bit ago. So if anybody has ever seen Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar, they had RFK on to kind of talk to him about the vaccine stuff. So I think this is actually a good, because I'm pretty sure Spotify will fucking nix me if I go and play Joe Rogan clips, I'm pretty sure. So same topic, let's hear, and this is like a month before, which is his talking points are going to be basically the same. I want to hear what kind of his arguments are. So let's go over that, shall we?
So let me ask you about vaccines. This is an area where you and I have significant differences. And, just to level with you on this, like, a lot of what you say I really respond to. I think you're a very genuine person, but the across the board, whether you want to call it vaccine skepticism or anti.
Do you want me to just look up the total debt? Also, why do I care about what the number is? To me, the question with any debt, especially for a country, the question to me is prioritization. Why are we incurring this much debt? For what purposes? If you're asking me like, do we take on debt to put everyone through college? Do we take on debt to ensure everybody has a healthy life or has access to doctors? Then I think that's justifiable debt. Every country is going to run debt essentially, and we're going to be one of the largest debtors in the world because we are one of the largest economies in the world, if not the largest, most likely. So I mean, to me, it's prioritization, and the fact that it goes to the military means that we're not getting anything out on the other end. We're shelling all of this money out for absolutely no fucking benefit. He's a traitor. Sigas Turnen Joyer. Would you like to make like a point, or do you have something to say to me, or should I just boot your ass? Sure, that is a good thing. Depends. What are we getting out of it? Also, we're America. I'm pretty sure we can afford 96 trillion, considering a lot of that debt is owed to ourselves. I'm gonna allow this to go for a little bit longer, but I grow bored with the debt talk. I'll lose everything to the government. Okay, point. Also, if you go into debt, you don't lose it to the government. Usually if you've ever actually been in debt, you would know that usually a private collection agency will come for your property, or will come for or will hound you for like the rest of time. Oh my god, the streamer's so dumb I just can't. Okay. Well, that's really, you know what? There you go. You can get a timeout then. You don't want to be here, don't be here. Like, you're just ignoring me if you're just gonna complain. If you want to come in here and just do the streamer sucks, then you can go find somewhere else. But you're annoying the shit out of me now. Haven't made an argument this entire
advocacy,
time.
which has been a central part of what you've been up to for the past number of years. For me personally, it's an issue, and it's a real sort of red line. And I know I'm not alone in that, especially running in a Democratic primary. There are going to be other millions of people like me who have similar concerns. So how do you win them over? What's your message to people who think like I do?
Well, but just tell me where you think I got it wrong.
Well, I think you get it wrong when you draw a correlation between the rise of things like autism and the introduction of vaccines when there isn't hard scientific evidence tying those things together.
There's no evidence. There's none. There is the picture I showed you earlier.
How do you know? Let me ask you this. How do you know there's not a hard scientific evidence?
Well, because the one major study that purported to show that was retracted, and the scientist who conducted it was,
Now, what you're doing now,
basically
Crystal,
fraudulently created. Listen,
no.
Hold on.
You're
But
raising
I don't.
this issue.
Well, I love this. So fucking defensive immediately. Like, whoa. I have no evidence. And yet the only evidence I had was complete bullshit. But you see, like, there was evidence. There was a study done, and it was bullshit. And what does he do? He's like, no. We're talking about something else. No, it was bullshit. Just accept that. But he won't. He never will. He'll never accept that study was bullshit, because then that would be him taking an L.
I don't want to get in a debate with you about this, because you've spent your life pulling out this study. Now, I will tell you. Let me just tell you.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Let me just tell you.
I'm not.
I've listened to hours of interviews with you with an open mind, and I'm not persuaded. Now, maybe I'm wrong. That's possible. I'll hold it out there. People can watch. I thought Megyn Kelly did a phenomenal.
No, why would you concede maybe I'm wrong? You're not. There is no evidence.
Interview with you that went through all these claims piece by piece by
piece.
It's
correlation, not
causation. I really
causation.
encourage people to watch that whole exchange, because we won't be able to do it justice here in the 5 minutes we have left. But there are going to be people like me who aren't persuaded, and who see this as an issue. And the fact that it's been such a central part of your advocacy means I can't just sort of put it to the side and say, I'll just ignore, this piece that's been really important to you in your life. So you're running in a Democratic primary. You have a lot of people who feel even more strongly than me, who think that, Dr. Fauci is a hero and all of these things. How are you going to persuade them? How are you going to reach them? And what is your message to them?
Well, first of all, I'm not leading with, my opinions about vaccines. What I say to people is, show me where I got it wrong. Show me where I got my science wrong. I've written books about this. I wrote a book about a link between thimerosal and autism that has, I think, 450 distilled scientific studies that confirm and validate that hypothesis, and 1,400 references. And if I got something wrong, show me where it is.
But I think people...
Yeah, this is what I mean earlier. Like, you can find a data set. Like, when you're constructing something like this, all you need to do is find the data that lines up with your hypothesis. That's all you have to do. You just have to find the right data set to give you the right answer. It's a selection bias. Now, I don't know what the link that he's speaking about. I don't know the fucking book he's talking about. But, like, that is kind of when he says, like, oh, tell me where I got this wrong. It's like, well, you're just wrong on the premise. There is no data to back this up. You're just saying it. It's like, well, tell me where I'm wrong. It's like, well, you're wrong because You have nothing to back this up. Well, I've written books on this other thing and I had sources and da-da-da-da. It's like, cool. Go out and write a fucking book and tell me how many sources you can get to tell you that there's a link. You're not going to do it. What you're going to find is a bunch of unrelated sources that just have to do with autism or have to do with the rate of vaccines that we give kids. But that's it. That's all that you're going to find. You're just going to find correlative trends. That's it. No real causal link.
Shown you where things are wrong, but you don't want to hear it. Is because I've seen, numerous fact checks. Dr. Vinay Prasad, who we, really respect on the COVID vaccine. He went through your interview with All In. He did a fact check. I mean, it's not.
And I did a fact check of Vinay, and you should read that.
I will take a look at it, but I don't think that it's fair to say nobody has ever pointed out anything that's been wrong.
Well, here's what people complain about what I say. And again, I'm not leading on this issue, so people can either take it or leave it. But if you want
it's a public health issue.
What you just said
health
about
is incredibly
me, that
important.
I'm sort of hard-headed and stubborn and just won't give in. You're wrong about that. If somebody shows me where I'm wrong, I'm going to correct it. And we have probably the most robust fact-checking operation now in North America. I have 350 PhD scientists and MD physicians on, CHD's advisory board, including until recently Luc Montagnier, who won the Nobel Prize for discovering the HIV virus. Chris Portier, who's the head of the National Toxicity Program at NIH, formerly, probably the top toxicologist in America. And if I were saying things that were scientifically unsound, those people.
Well. Here's the thing. It's not about you just saying things that are wrong. It's more about, you can have all of those people around you, but if none of them have any, if none of them are vaccine specialists, they're not going to reach out to you because they're going to tell you, or at the very least, they're going to hope that a vaccine specialist is going to do that, or somebody who's an expert on COVID-19 specifically. At the end of the day, you can have, not every single doctor and every single scientist all share the same what's the word I'm looking for? It's very specific info, right? That's not how that works. At the end of the day, they're an HIV doctor you're gonna ask them, oh, what do you think of the COVID-19 vaccine? They're gonna go, man, I'm an HIV doctor. I don't fucking know what's going on with fucking COVID-19. I don't know what's that's an inflammation of the chest. I don't do that. I do HIV. What the why the fuck are you talking to me? And they go, but this is all science. It's yeah, it's all science, but that's not my field. It's like asking an immunologist about a surgical thing. Yeah, it's all medicine. It's all medical. You learn all that stuff at medical school, but the immunologist is going to look at you and go, I don't do surgical side. That's not my field. So I whatever info I could even raise. What are you doing? Oh, you see the hair tie, don't you? There you go. Go get it. So whatever information that they disagree with you on, they have probably a bit more of an awareness, but they're not an expert on that. Same with a toxicology person. They're not a fucking vaccine guy. They're toxicology.
Would not stay with us.
It's we don't know how departments work.
Show me where I got it wrong. Show me a study where I got wrong, and I will change.
There
my
isn't
position.
a study.
Science is fluid.
The study you have is
not an embarrassment.
And there isn't a study that disproves it.
If there's a new scientific study that I haven't seen that comes out and says I'm wrong, that's what you're supposed to do with science. But what I'm saying to you
isn't true.
Nobody has done that. If Vinay Prasad, when he did his piece, if he showed me science that was valid,
I don't know why Crystal's letting him off.
I would say I would change my position.
If we got the two of you together,
read my response to him.
So you say this isn't what you're leading with, but I just have to say, as someone who is watching your candidacy closely,
a lot closer
and
than
is
most
aware
people.
of the advocacy you've been doing, and the organization that you are involved with, it's hard for me to believe this won't be an important part of how you govern. So I think that's the most important piece for people to get.
It is kind of important.
You have to accept there are going to be people
like
me
United
who
States and you're going to
just
be,
don't agree with you on this. You certainly understand that there are many who do think that the vaccines that we have are more beneficial than harmful, that, got their kids vaccinated and are happy for that decision. So how is this going to impact the way that you govern, or does it not at all?
I mean, I'm going to govern according to, what evidence-based medicine. That's
So
the way.
let me give a specific question.
There's no evidence.
If there's another
of the,
pandemic,
like there's no evidence. Like, you fucking moron. There's no evidence. There is no evidence to show a link between autism and fucking vaccines. It's not there. But do you notice he doesn't get off of that? He says, show me a study that says there isn't a link. No, idiot. Show me one that there is a link. I'm not here to prove to you that two things are not linked together. You have to show me how they're linked. That's the fucking evidence. The evidentiary standard is on your side, not mine, and not anybody else's.
in the last pandemic, former President Trump, something we gave him a lot of credit for, he launched Operation Warp
Not a
Speed.
water. I wish I had more water.
They had a whole of government approach. They used the mRNA technology that was developed using, U.S. taxpayer dollars to get a vaccine out to the population as quickly as possible. How would your approach have differed?
My approach would have been a science-based approach.
Which means what?
Which means
Fucking a science-based approach.
and a medicine-based approach, the approach that has been used for, and approved for decades. You look first at therapeutics that are off the shelf, and you look at the efficacy of those. I mean, what I would have done if I was in power then, I would have created an information grid, because now we have this internet that is supposed to benefit us and has become
an information grid. Okay. So nothing yet.
Totalitarian control, but let's use it for something good. Let's link all 15 million scientists, doctors, frontline.
Fuck's sake, Mr. President, there is a disease rolling through the country, killing hundreds at a time. Mr. President, what should we do? Okay, we need to get everybody together and have a chat about this. This is disqualifying. This is fucking disqualifying. If you're gonna tell me, as COVID-19 is ramping up, and as the disease is starting in Washington, spreading all the way to the East Coast, and you're over here fucking jerking off about fucking fucking getting a information grid going, motherfucker, there are lives being lost right now. This is the problem. There are fucking lives right now as we speak, as this fucking pandemic, as this disease rolls through our country. And this dude's but what if we explore our 1,000 options? How about this? How about we go with the quick one and start to because again, every day, remember, we all remember how it was back then. Every day you were seeing these rolling death counts, rolling spread counts, everything else. Let's these kinds of situations, move your ass. These can't be we need to find out every inch. No, you got to go with the best information that you have and with the best result that you have, which it was mRNA vaccines distributed by the government. That was the best way to get it to the most amount of people with the best efficacy.
Physicians all over the world, and find out what they're doing to treat this new respiratory virus, and find out what they're saying is working and not working.
What's up,
and then
Rose?
test that
How are you
science,
doing?
and then turn it into instantaneously into protocols and recommendations for other scientists.
So would a vaccine development
how long does this take? How many lives between this and we finally get an answer?
And try to explain to me the countries that were unvaccinated.
Oh my God, Kat.
Did much better than our.
Many of those countries, because there are a lot of different factors in various countries. So a lot of those countries, as you pointed out before,
we have the highest death rate count in the world by far.
I think there are a lot of factors that may go into that.
Wait, death count? No shit, we have the highest death count. We have one of the largest populations.
One of them is the fact that we are disproportionately obese as a society. We have the negative health outcomes that you've been talking about. We don't go outside as much as countries, say in Africa. I mean, there are a lot of different factors that may play into that. But I will say, did the vaccines work in the way they were initially promised to prevent spread? No, I don't think so, especially once you got to later variants. But we have a lot of data that shows that in terms of reducing severe hospitalization and death, the vaccines were really important. And maybe there was a cost.
Yeah, okay, cases of mortality. U.S., 1,123,836. Like Brazil, India, Russia, like Mexico, UK, like, yeah, no shit. These are all very large population countries. This is Breaking Points. Is the Crystal Ball is the woman. Sagar is the dude that hasn't shown up on screen. Well, maybe like once. And this is RFK Jr. 1 million. Fuck. You asked that as soon as I closed it. It's like one over 1.1 million, I think it was. 1.6 maybe.
Benefit
I
analysis.
want to see that data. I know that's what the industry says.
Better go back for a second.
May
just
play
'cause I
into
missed a
that.
bit.
But I will say.
Oh yeah, and the whole thing of like, why do we have so many deaths? Well, we have one of the largest populations in the world. I think we're like, because what, China's like 2, India's 1, I think now. I wouldn't be shocked if we're, let's see, population like 330 million, right? Yeah, like we're up there in terms of population. Let's see, population Denver, by country. 2023? Sure, give me numbers. China, India, United States. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, we're the 3rd largest country. So no shit, we're probably going to have the most, considering China like did like a full authoritarian lockdown. And even then, that they're lying about all of their numbers. But we were still at the top because we're the 3rd largest country. Yeah, no shit. We're going to have a large death count no matter what, probably the largest of like in the world. It's not really all that shocking. It's not really all that controversial either. And like the other reason for why we're going to have such a high death rate is because we're kind of an unhealthier group of people. That's just kind of, Americans are generally less healthy than Europeans, less healthy than, I don't know about Chinese. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what they're, I guess probably, I don't know, but like, we're not the most healthy people. I'm a testament to a bit of that. Like I work in a kitchen. I do enough active work that I'm like healthy, but like if I didn't do that job, then I would be much less healthier than I am. Yeah.
The vaccines
it's still not good.
work
It's
in
still,
the
like,
way they were
millions of people
initially
dead.
promised to prevent spread? No, I don't think so, especially once you got to later variants. But we have a lot of data that shows that in terms of reducing severe hospitalization and death, the vaccines were really important. And maybe there was a cost-benefit analysis.
I want to see that data. I know that's what the industry says.
There is lots of data, and not just from here, from around the world, that shows the vaccine doses, and not just our vaccines, but
You also can't do that's what the industry says. Like, I get it. The industry is corrupt, but like, what do they get out of, hey, the vaccine worked? Like, what do they get? It doesn't matter. They're on both sides of it. Corpos make the vitamins. Corpos make the vaccine. They don't care. As long as you're getting both from them, they don't give a shit. Like, it's also not an industry
all
line.
around
Like,
the
this
world.
is
Reduce severe hospitalization and death. So in that way, yes, I do very much believe that they work.
And let me tell you something.
You'd have to also show me evidence that
you're parroting
it doesn't work.
what the public health agencies have been saying, but
Well,
they do not have a
too bad
scientific
they're
basis for that. And
public.
I have another book out that you should look at called Died Suddenly, that goes through all the Johns Hopkins data, which is the dashboard data that everybody uses, and shows exactly what happened when first of all, the vaccine, the Case Western study that is probably the largest, most recent, shows that at most the vaccine gives you a very, very small amount of protection, and that after 7 months,
cool.
you go into negative efficacy. So you are more, if you got vaccinated, you're
Well, then you get the booster, don't you? That's what the booster's
more likely
purpose
to get
was?
sick. You're more likely to get severe illness, and you're more likely to die than if you were unvaccinated.
I have not seen that. I have seen
Well, then
study
all
after
you have-
study that shows the opposite. Listen, I don't want to get bogged down in this because I
No,
don't
get
think we're
bogged
going to
down
see
in it,
eye to
Crystal,
eye
for
here. And
God's
we have some
sakes.
other questions we want to get to, and your time is
Jesus,
short.
look,
But we'll put in post, please send us what
I
you're
wasn't
looking
gonna
at.
say
Yeah,
it,
we're
but-
happy
We'll
to
put
do
what
that.
I'm looking at, and people can judge for themselves. Hey guys,
What the fuck did he say? I want to hear that.
If you got vaccinated, you're more likely to get sick. You're more likely to get severe illness, and you're more likely to die than if you were unvaccinated.
I have not seen that. I have
Well,
seen
then
study
all
after
you have-
study that shows the opposite. Listen, I don't want to get bogged down in this.
He said Johns Hopkins. I'm assuming that's what his source is. Let's see. Johns Hopkins medicine myth virus check. Let's go. Study published August 2020 indicates that if you had COVID-19 before and are not vaccinated, your risk of getting reinfected more than 2 times higher. Getting vaccinated provides greater protection than others since the vaccine helps reduce the spread. Researchers rush the development. No, I want to know what the gives you COVID-19. Side effects are dangerous. Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. What? Good. You know what really gets me too? You know what actually pisses me off that just angered the fuck out of me is why are we talking about this? Like, what? Why am I reading this again? Am I currently sitting in a hot tub time machine back to like 2020? Like, god damn, why are we still on this? Didn't get vaccinated, wore a mask the first year. Yeah, like, isolate yourself. If you wear a mask, then and you keep your distance from people, you can actually be perfectly fine. Like, it's it can't be everybody's solution, but like, it's not the worst thing. COVID-19 vaccine was developed. Yeah, like, why am I reading this? Like, this is the worst part. Is I'm just like, why the fuck am I reading this nonsense? It's so, like, why are we continually relitigating this stuff over and over and over and over and over again? Like, give it a rest already. It's over. You guys survived the authoritarian takeover of our healthcare state. Like, God, people like pretend like they were so put upon by like having to, I don't know, fucking like abide by public health laws, which even then, yeah, I just can't with this. Okay. Let's shift gears because God, that's annoying. The thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.